Good morning. It is Atlanta time. Not quite 12 o'clock. It's after 11. And I'm getting ready to eat out of chapter 38 of Genesis. This book is good. All right. In chapter 37, as I try to bring in what happened. In chapter 37, this is where Joseph is the if I use it like a play, Joseph has the stage and his brothers hates him to the point they were going to prove that they hate him. They hate him in the mind, the origin, or the original manufacture, the mind, where we carry out our thoughts, and then we take our mind and we produce the fruit of the mind. And that's what Jesus said I came to do. He said, if I can get in your head, if I can get it before when you thought about it. He said, if you look at a woman and you want to have commit adultery, he said, you just as well done. You did it. Or the penalty, because he said, I know where it starts at. It doesn't start once you take action. It started when you let it take place in your head. So these boys, in their head, they hated their brother. They hated the sound of his voice. They could not speak peaceably with him because he was his father's favorite, and it was just known. You love who you love. He loved his mama, and he said, I love this boy because in my old age, I produced a son. And so, good morning, Elwanda. And so Jacob having loved and his sons noticed. So Jacob having loved Joseph and his 10 sons noticed. But they decided that we'll kill him. Need nothing else. Tired of him anyway. And they proceeded, but God had a plan. Go so far, stop here, don't go that far, and I'm going to turn around and I'm going to bless you. That's how good I am. I know that you want to get rid of him, but you don't understand. My purpose for him is to keep you. All right, so now that's what happened in Genesis 37. I want to say that before I go into Genesis 38, there's a lot of wisdom and things that we ought to know and will be required to know, because as we walk through Genesis, it connects to all the way to Revelation. Let me tell y'all something about these before I go. Let me tell y'all something that I learned. In the book of Revelation, and everybody likes God's description of what it looks like and what's available. The Bible says, and I'm chopping my sentences even worse than I normally do. First of all, let me say, if you want to get started in the Word of God, take the book of Genesis, read one chapter a day. In that chapter, you will be able to, I'm deviating from everything I was saying. In that chapter, you will be able to know who you're talking about. You have time to look up words. You have time to find out what you learned in school, how to apply it in reading. And it'll give you such a rich understanding of how God spoke and how he used people, and how you can benefit from knowing what he did to them, that you'll know also that he'll be faithful to you. So Genesis is a good book to get started in. Read one chapter a day. I declare to you that one chapter is enough. Take notes, look at videos, go on YouTube and listen to other people teach, and so that you can be rich in the word and then rich in your decisions when you just carrying out your everyday life, because this is all God is showing us, people that he used that are just like us. All right, let me tell you how these boys, Jacob's sons, connect to the book of Revelation. The Bible says there are 12 gates. There are 12 entrances. You can enter. I don't know how we're going to enter, but you got gates on the north, 3 gates, 3 on the south, 3 on the east, and 3 on the west. And the names of these gates are these 12 individuals. These sons that Jacob had, these are the 12 sons of Israel. And no matter what you think about them, God has already called the entrance to enter into that city. You got to come through one of those gates. And they are named by these guys. And one of these guys I'm getting ready to talk about, and his name is Judah. And that means, and I've heard a lot of people, that the name means praise. And so I'm going to take this necklace off. I got on too much this morning, getting on my nerve. All right, I'm going to take that off. But anyway, Judah God is talking about the story. He wrote it like this. This story is getting ready in chapter 37, builds up, and it's talking about Joseph being 17 years old and then sold to the Egyptians. Then the story is going to continue. But right here in the middle of, or right when you got your eyes like, what's going to happen to Joseph? Brings you to that point like you went to the movie and you looking like, what? And it seemed like there was an interruption. And God talks about Judah. I thought about that. And I'm going to tell you about the story, but I thought about, oh, Lord, my thing is acting up. When I thought about Joseph, and if it acts up again, I'm going to start over because I can't stand it when my... Anyway, when I thought about the interruption of talking about Joseph, and then it all of a sudden started talking about Judah, and it leaves you, hey, what happened to Joseph? But God has a way of saying, when I see something that needs my attention, I have no problem with just pausing for a second. And what he saw, rather than a continuation of something that happened to a 17-year-old, he stopped and he said, I want y'all to take a look at Judah. Now, as Joseph is going to where they're taking him, this is going on. God is giving you a story. And people said it was an interruption, but it does feel like that. Because when you leave Joseph, you want to know what's going to happen to him after his brother did him like that, because God is certainly not going to leave you hanging. But right there, it made me think that God is saying, look, let me tell y'all something. When I hear the cries of my people, I stop. And if we cry out to God, even right now, if I can get my people to cry out to me, then whatever the conditions are that seems like they're going to continue, God said, my ears are open to you. So Judah, and what happened in chapter 38, somebody got God's attention, and he said, I'll get back to Joseph. What Joseph is getting ready to do is make sure you're getting something to eat in a few more years. But Judah is getting ready to change the course of the genealogy of Jacob. Let's check this story out. Let's see why God interrupted and said, I need y'all to get this. Oh, let me say it like this. There's going to be an interruption. Life is going to be just like this. And there's going to be an interruption similar to what we're getting ready to learn today. Chapter 38, Genesis. And it came to pass at that time that Judah went down from his brothers. You're going down from your brothers? Do they know where you are? And turned. He went down and he turned into a certain Adullamite whose name was Hira. So he went down from his brothers And then he turned into a certain Adullamite whose name was Hira. So he found somebody to hook up with. And Judah saw there a daughter of a certain Canaanite whose name was Shua. The man had a daughter, but the man's name was Shua. And Judah saw there a daughter of a certain Canaanite whose name was Shua. And he took her and went in unto her. He had a sexual relationship with her. It didn't say that he married her, but it appeared that he married her. And she got pregnant. She conceived and bare a son and called his name And she conceived again and bare a son, and she called his name Onan. One boy, second boy, Onan. And she yet again conceived and bare a son and called his name Shelah. And he was at Chezib when she bare him. So she was in a particular location. So Judah took a wife. They give the name of her daddy, not hers. We don't know her name. All we know is her name is the wife, or all we know is that Judah had 3 sons by an unnamed woman. Her daddy has a name, but there's no genealogy of her. What is her name? We don't know. He just took a wife. He took a woman, went into her. She got pregnant 1 time, pregnant 2 times, pregnant 3 times, all boys. And Judah took a wife for his his firstborn, whose name was Tamar. So Judah said, "Hey, Tamar, I want you to be my son's wife." And firstborn son, Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord. And the Lord slew him. The Lord killed him. What that boy was doing? And Judah said unto Onan, "Go into your brother's wife and marry her. My second son." Come here, boy. Now you know that there has to be a leverage. "And raise up seed to your brother." He said, now you know if your brother died and his wife did not have seed, you got to marry her and then give her somebody in his stead, in his name. And Onan was like, And Onan knew that the seed should not be his. And it came to pass when he went in unto his brother's wife, now that's his brother's wife, that he spilled it on the ground, lest that he should give seed to his brother. Onan said, "Oh no, when I feel that my sperm getting ready to impregnate Tamar, I'm going to use some natural birth control." And the word said, and he spilled it on the ground, his sperm. He said, "No, I ain't have no baby by him. I'm not having no baby for him. I'm not doing it." And that thing which he did displeased the Lord, wherefore he slew him also. So Tamar has been married to 2 brothers. And the Lord said, I got to bring an end to this. I'm going to bring an end to this. First one, wicked. Second one, disobedient. And the thing which he did displeased the Lord, wherefore he killed him also. Killed Onan. Then said Judah. Judah started coming up with some things that he had been around in his own family. He said Judah to Tamar, his daughter-in-law, remain a widow at your daddy's house till Shelah my son be grown. For he said, lest perhaps he die also, as his brother did. I ain't so sure about you, Miss Tamar. You done laid with two of my sons and they both dead. Let me hold off on giving you this lad boy, let that boy die. Let him get grown. Okay? Now you just gone on back home to your dad and remain a widow. And I'm telling you now, remain a widow. That means don't marry nobody else. You got to just let this boy grow up, get a little bit older. And cause right now I can't handle it. Lest perhaps he die also, as his brothers did. And Tamar did what he said and dwelt in her father's house. So Tamar is like women that represented. Okay, let's look at this lady for a second. She got married. She was taken to marry Judah's son. Boy didn't act right. God said, you got to go. No children. So she knew the law. Second son, I'm marrying him. And he didn't want to follow instructions, so God said, no, you got to go. Then her father-in-law said, I got the third son. And she looking at him like, because in order to have something in life being a woman, it was just understood that you got to leave me something because I have nothing and I'm somebody's wife and I have no children. Nobody else going to want to deal with me. So my inheritance has got to come through somebody in that family. Somebody got to take care of me. I got to have some, what they call it? Alimony. So I got to have something. I got to have some policy, some insurance policy or something, but I have nothing. And he said, well, you just go back home to your dad and remain a widow. That's what he told her to do. And he said, I'm going to give you my son. That was his word. It wasn't in writing. It was spoken. And you know, if you spoke it, then it's supposed to come to pass. And Tamar went back and went home with her daddy. Now, you know, I could imagine going back home, having been married twice in the neighborhood, looking at you. You know, two of her husbands. You know what happened, right? And she ain't got nobody. So I know people talking about her. But still, she remained faithful to what she was told. And some time went by. The daughter of Shua, Judah's wife, died. So he did marry her. We still don't know that lady's name. His wife died. And Judah was comforted and went up into his sheep shearer. In other words, his wife died, and then after he went through a period of time, and then he got comforted, and he said, let's go back to work. He went unto his sheep shearers in Timnath. He had people that worked for him. And his friend Hira, the Adulamite. So, hey, Hira, come on, go down here with me where we going to shave, see what's going on with these sheep and help out. Some kind of way, Tamar been at home. And everybody knows she's a widow. And everybody knows that she was promised to this next son. So somebody told Tamar, saying, behold, your father-in-law goes up to Timnath to shear his sheep. You know, I've been keeping up with him. He's on his way down there. And Tamar put her widow's garment off of her. She said, I'm getting this stuff off me. And covered her with a veil, put something over her face, and wrapped herself. In other words, I got to get dressed. Cover my face, wrap myself, and sat in an open place, which is by the way to Timnath. That's where he was on his way. For she saw that Shelah was grown. I see your son, and I've been waiting. And she was not giving him to wife. Now Judah knew that once your word was spoken, you were supposed to carry it out. You got to keep your word, and we don't do that. So Tamar said, I'm going to sit out here because I know we got a problem. When Judah saw her, her father-in-law saw her, he thought her to be a prostitute and harlot because she had covered her face. And he turned unto her by the way and said, go to, I pray you, let me come into you. Can I get with you? Hey, you. And he turned unto her by the way and said, go to, I pray you, let me come into you. For he knew not that she was his daughter-in-law. He said to me, can we get together? He didn't know that was his daughter-in-law. And she said, what will you give me that you may come in unto me? Now, Tamar is not a victim here. She been waiting, but she could have said, let me put this thing on my face and let you know. She didn't do that. She said, what you gonna give me? And he said, I will send you a kid from the flock. And she said, without giving me a pledge until you do that. In other words, I ain't trusting you. Because the last time you told me you're going to give me you told me to wait till that kid grew. You told me to wait till that boy grew up and you were going to make him my husband. Let him marry me. Now, you got to give me something. I'm going to sleep with you now. But what you going to give me? He said, I'm going to give you a kid from the flock. She said, you got a pledge. I need some collateral. And he said, what pledge shall I give you? Because right now my mind is, I just want to sleep with you. And she said, give me that signet. Give me that ring. Give me something that means something to you. And not just that. Give me the bracelet too. I want the whole set. Give me the ring and the bracelets. And give me that thing you're walking on. Give me that staff. Give me your ring. Give me your bracelet. And give me your walking cane. That is in your hand. And he gave it her and came in unto her, and she got pregnant. If I can't have your son, I'll have you. And she arose, Tamar, and went away and laid by her veil from her face. Oh, I read that wrong. And she arose and went away and laid by her veil from her and put on the garment of her widowhood. She went home, changed clothes. And Judah kept his word this time. And Judah sent the kid by the hand of his friend, the Adullamite. You know what I did. Take it back to that girl and get my stuff back. To receive his pledge from the woman's hand, but he found her not. She said, I want something that means something to you. And he was sent back. He kept his word because she had something that meant something to him. And he told his friend, go get my stuff. And he went and followed instructions. And this is what he said. And he got there and he asked the men of that place, saying, where is the prostitute? Where's that harlot that was openly by the wayside? Where the girl at? You know, the one that's always sitting out there. They said, there is no harlot in this place. And he returned to Judah. Got to go back home. Got to tell Judah what happened. His friend. And said, I can't find her. Cannot find her. And also the men of the place said, that there was no prostitute or harlot in this place. And Judah said, let her take it to her. Let her just go and keep this stuff, lest we be shamed. I'm not finna joke. I'm not going to hunt it down because I don't want to get embarrassed. I don't know who did it or who I did or who it was. Behold, I sent this kid and thou hast not found her. I'm not going through all that. It's all right. Let's move on. I mean, she did her part. I shouldn't have been fooling with her no ways, but I'm not getting ready to be put to shame. I don't feel like everybody knowing my business. But God. And it came to pass about 3 months after the sexual encounter that it was told Judah, people love to talk, saying, Tamar, your daughter-in-law, has played the harlot. And also, she is pregnant with child by whoredom. She done slept with somebody. She done got herself pregnant. And Judah said, bring her forth and let her be burnt. When she was brought forth, oh, they ready to get rid of her. She sent to her father-in-law, saying, I'm going to send this to the man send it to my dad-in-law. By the man whose these are, that signet, give him the signet, give him this bracelet, and give him this staff. Take this to him. And when she was brought forth, she sent to her father-in-law, saying, by the man whose these are, am I with child? And she said, discern, judge this. I pray you, whose are these? The signet and the bracelets and staff. And Judah acknowledged them. And he said to the people that brought her back, she hath been more righteous than I. Because that I gave her not to Shelah, my son. And he knew her again no more. He never touched her again sexually. And it came to pass in the time of her travail, time for her to have this baby, that behold, twins were in her womb. And it came to pass when she travailed that twins were in her womb. And it came to pass when she travailed that one put out his hand. One of them babies. Hand came out of the womb, stuck it out. And the midwife took and bound on his hand a scarlet red, saying, this came out first. I'm going to wrap this around him so we'll know who's coming out first. And it came to pass as he drew back his hand, put it back in the womb, that behold, his brother came out. And she said, how has this broken forth? This breach be upon you. Therefore his name was called Phares. And afterwards came out his brother with his little bracelet on his hand, that had the scarlet thread upon his hand, and his name was called Zerah. All right, there again, an interruption, because the next sentence in chapter 39 goes right back into the lights on Joseph. Now, the interruption again that I believe we can see that God says, anytime my people are in trouble or any time I need to attend to something, my eyes will go toward that thing that's calling me. And in this right here, he's watching Judah. And I asked the question to God last night, and I said, Lord, as I'm reading this, I said, now, Adam messed up and in sin. Then you took the whole world because of sin, and you kept 8, and you used Noah, and you got rid of everybody else. And I said, from that time all the way out, all the way up until now, and even with this family right here, the real lives of the Abraham tribe, people of Abraham. And I said, all I've seen through all of these guys is I've seen nothing but something wrong, something that they did wrong. But yet and still, like yesterday, you still got a plan to save the people that's hurting the people that you're going to save through. I said, and here we go with Judah. Judah was the one that said, let's sell Jesus. I think I said Jesus, Joseph. It make me think every time like somebody told me he is a type of Christ. But let me show you something that I saw that Judah said. I don't like doing it, but anyway, I have to go back and tell you, I think Judah was the one to give the idea that they carried out. Let's sell him. But I want to say that, now here's Judah leaving his brothers, going down to a place that he had no right to be because they were not to be marrying Canaanites. I said, but I want to know, what puzzles me is what's going on that your eyes are on these 12, even to the point that I already know that these guys got reservation nameplates already on the gates that everybody gonna enter and see. These 12 guys right here. And I said, I want to know, what is it about these guys that it's not that they are being excused, because as we see, Judah did wrong, and then he got caught in his wrong, and he acknowledged that he was wrong. So I see that. But what is it about these guys that I can learn a lesson from because of the love that you have for them? And even though they did wrong, what is it? What's the point? What's up with this? Because I might be confused, but I'm coming to the one who can solve the problem of my confusion. And he gave me an answer to let me know. He said, let me tell you something. These guys, no matter what they did, these guys, they did wrong. But the part of me that expresses through these guys that I'm using, these 12 right here, being that I gave my word to Abraham, but I want to show you something about him that I want the entire world to take a look at. No matter what these guys did, they never broke up. You talking about a committed family. I don't care what they did to each other. I don't care what they did to nobody else. At the end of the day, them guys came right back together. They lied to their daddy. But no matter what they did or how bad it was, they came back together. How is that like God? When he said, I stood at the altar and I married you, and all I've seen since the day I said I do, I watched you walk back down that aisle, and you never kept your promise to me. He said, I am married to you. I don't care what you do in the dark. I don't care what you do in the light. I don't care what you do that's wrong. I don't care what you do that's right. You mine. You are mine. When I saw a family that did not allow anybody or anything to break it apart, He said, that's how I want man to be with me. That's why marriage is so sacred to me, because it puts people together. Yeah, you can get separated because of the nuisance of adultery. But I want a family to understand, when you are a part of me, I'm not going anywhere. And you're going to see these guys as we walk with Joseph for the rest of this chapter. You're going to see some more things they do. But I don't care. In hunger, they're together. In lying, they're together. When they repented, they're together. So there was nothing that these guys did that can break their tie. And God is saying, that's the kind of relation that I want you and I to have. Don't leave me. And I know when I tell you, I was going to bed, and that thing blessed me so. But then when them boys died, the son of Judah died. And I think that's the first time I've seen recorded in the word where somebody died that was a son, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, where God had to. Well, anyway, let me just say this part. And he said they didn't have no control over that. They had the control of their choices. He said, I didn't say they weren't going to die. They just didn't live and break apart. I'm still keep my word. All I want you to do, I don't care who you are, walk with me. Stay with me. I don't care if you mess up so many times. Stay with me. I don't care if the church want to put you out of church. Stay with me. Tamar at home stood her grounds. Tell you a secret there in his word. That girl, go to Matthew the first chapter, 3rd verse. Even Jesus said, I'm with you, Tamar. I'm with you, great grandma. Because that first son is going to have a son. It's going to have a son. It's going to have a son. It's going to have a king. And his name going to be David. And it's going to go down. And you're going to find Tamar's name. The girl that played the position of a prostitute. Jesus said, I got all kind of people in my family, and I ain't going to hide none of them. I'll talk to y'all. I'm related to y'all. Stick with me. That's what the word is saying.